Hey, it's Matt Roush.
And Mike Brennan.
And we're just a couple of minutes late with today's edition of the M² TechCast.
We have calling in
Atlanta, exactly.
John Tipton and Emily Blum. And so you guys are working on the relief effort down there. COVID-19, of course, is the topic for everyone, topic for us lately. And so let's talk a little bit about what you guys are doing down there. Give us a kind of a quick overview.
Yeah, so we are kind of leading a couple subsectors of efforts. We're working on getting PPE production on a larger scale, production-wise for both face shields, N95 respirators, and a couple other projects. So we're working as kind of an engineering group that usually focuses in the med tech sphere. So we're trying to get these products designed in a better and safer way and quickly get them out to the folks that really need them.
And we're focusing not just on Atlanta, but we're looking at a national scale and potentially even international once we start ramping up our operations.
Absolutely.
All right.
So specifically, what are you making in this effort?
So we started off with a quick win project, and that quick win project was something that was going to be easy design, easy to manufacture. Although we've learned some lessons along the way in the few short weeks that we've been doing this. In 6 weeks, we've managed to design with the help of Georgia Tech and manufacture with the help of Siemens, ExxonMobil, and Delta, large-scale manufacturing of face shields. And John is leading the charge for reusable N95 respirators.
All right, great. So 3D is really big. I know that's what this really drives is. How much production are you able to actually do with 3D?
So good question. So we use 3D printing pretty regularly in our day-to-day operations. So our perspective, 3D printing is the great new technology of the age. I think it became pretty apparent quickly that 3D printing, however, wouldn't quite fully cut it for production scale, as well as some material and design concerns that you would have with some of these PPE equipment, especially that we're filtering air through. So we are doing we're doing all of our production as a non-3D printing focus, but we did use 3D printing to help rapidly scale and iterate on designs.
Okay.
All right, so are you using injection molding then, or how are you doing the production?
So with the face shields projects, we're using injection molded bands as well as some die cut shield materials. And then for the actual respirator projects, we're doing both thermoforming, injection molding, as well as various die cutting processes as well. So standard industrial processes that you would use for under a normal non-crisis time.
The other thing to note too is that we made all of our face shield information open source. You just have to go onto the GCMIATL.com website, and anyone can download it. And so there are quite a few 3D printing houses that have turned around and taken our design and adapted it for 3D printing, and are now manufacturing it from that. So we're trying the injection molding, mass manufacturing. But any maker out there that wants to contribute, they can do so with our design as well.
Do you have any idea how many makers you're working with, or what sort of volume is coming out of all this? It's hard to tell, right?
For the face shield itself, I haven't checked the statistics in a while, but over 50 groups have downloaded the face shields. I don't know, John, if you know the last count for the face shields themselves. I think that we're probably quickly approaching 100,000 face shields, if not more.
Well, that's great. And then who are receiving this? Whoever the maker is working with locally? Is that what's going on?
If they're local makers, they'll work with their local hospitals. We've established a network throughout the country. We've been shipping up face shields up to New York. We've been shipping face shields to Children's National. Locally in Atlanta, as well as South Carolina also.
Yeah, that's obviously one of the big challenges, is trying to figure out who needs these and how to get them. And everyone's looking, but it seems like there's still a little bit of a disconnect between actually getting them out to folks. So we're working on tackling that through networking and communications through the university, as well as some of our other partners as well.
So what do you see as the role of 3D printing as a technology in this crisis, both in this crisis and sort of in more normal times for medical device development?
So yeah, we do actually one of the products here at GCMI we've worked on previously is almost entirely 3D printed surgical device. So we do see 3D printing as a potential manufacturing method moving forward, but it's just really crucial to consider some of the material properties, the strengths, the actual degradation of the materials, just like you would for any other process. So it's great for iterating on things, but you do have to take into account some of these trickier characteristics as you try to move into a production model. There's a lot of variability in printing usually.
Exactly. And to echo that, you know, people that want to help out that have 3D printers, 3D printing networks, you can do good, you can help out, but this is a time-consuming process. I know I've worked with some manufacturers initially through all this before the cloth face masks were a thing. And they had made thousands of cloth face masks and went to drop them off at their local hospital, and the local hospital said, we don't want cloth face masks. That was at first. So if you are trying to get together a maker network and really try to scale up manufacturing of any product, really important to contact your local hospital first. Make sure that there's a need before you waste supplies, time, and your own money. Make sure that you're building something that they're willing to accept. Just because they need it doesn't mean they're willing to accept it made by the general public.
Yeah, I guess that's the tricky part, right? Because obviously they want these to be the right stuff, something that's safe. And are they looking to work with people they've worked with before? Of course, these are extraordinary times. So there's probably not many people out there they've worked with before in this particular space, right?
They want,
Yes, yeah.
For the most part, they want to work with someone that they know is a trusted source. GMP, good manufacturing standards, are always appreciative, but they're not necessarily necessary for things like the face shield. For the respirator project, absolutely. These are going to need stricter guidelines, and some of the N95-like models that are out there that are 3D printed are slightly troublesome because I think it gives, unless they really have NIOSH-approved standards and NIOSH-approved filters, they're not true protection devices.
Yeah, that's the tricky part. But these would be suitable for the average public, though. If the average public wanted to use them, that would be fine?
Absolutely.
Yes. So some of the things we've been discussing with the FDA, their big perspective through all of this is trying to make sure that products that are going both the general public and the hospitals, they're accurate in their labeling. So if I say this is an N95 product, I've got to go through all of the testing, the sample sizes, all of the standards, and make sure that we can truly be qualified as an N95 product. So just with some of these things that are going out to the general public as well, it's important to make sure you're not overselling your solution. And we want to make PPE that works like PPE, not just looks like PPE. So yeah, we're trying to take that approach all around. It's a really good strategy to have also for general public distribution. Make sure you're being clear about what level of protection these would actually be providing, especially to hospitals and other medical related groups.
Yeah, one thing that I see a lot of on the internet is people saying, I 3D printed a face mask, it passed the fit test. And the fit test is only one of numerous standards that you need to pass in order to get N95 clearance. So yes, for the general public, passing a fit test is probably just fine. If not, gives you better protection than a face mask, a cloth face mask. But for medical professionals, just passing a fit test isn't going to be enough. You need to prove the filtration capabilities of your device.
And a lot of these are under these emergency regulations, right? It's clearly when the emergency ends, you have to dispose of them, right?
Correct. I think that it'll be a while for the FDA to catch up, though.
Yeah, I think they're still trying to figure out what that looks like. Are they going to have to go through and actually recollect devices? They're not sure yet either, because these things would normally, a lot of them wouldn't be used under a non-crisis scenario.
Right, yeah. Well, of course, on the other hand, we don't know how long this is going to last. Folks are saying could be 15 to 18 months before we have a vaccine. who knows? I mean, maybe somebody will make a breakthrough sooner, but it's certainly unexplored territory, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. I know you guys are on tight timelines. Emily, you have a patient coming in, so
Yep.
give the address.
Telemedicine.
Telemedicine, okay. Why don't you give the website address where folks can check out your designs, perhaps download them and use them themselves?
So it's gcmiatl.com.
Okay. And John, you want to add anything?
No, I think that pretty well covers it. We're looking forward to, we're heading into our NIOSH testing phases ourselves, trying to get our solutions fully quantified and out there to help the people that really need it.
Traditional four-year students love Lawrence Technological University's thriving campus life, but LTU has always met non-traditional students' needs too. Lawrence Tech offers over 100 degree and certificate programs that can get adult students started or back on track. And most of our classes are conveniently offered evenings at our beautiful Southfield campus or online, so you can balance your social, family, and work life even while you power up your career. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.